Great. Okay, so well, good afternoon, and thank you, Thomas, for having me on today. So my name is Erin O'Dowling Keane, and I'm the managing producer of eSeller.net, which is an award-winning resource site for people who sell online. So today we're going to talk about selling overseas with e-commerce. So first, it's going to be a very quick overview of why you might want to do this, and then we're going to look at the how. So marketing, payments, delivery, and marketplaces. We're going to finish up with 10 top tips which you can kind of get underway immediately, which you can action from this webinar. And then if there are any questions at the end, feel free to ask them directly using Google Hangouts or tweet them to @eseller_net or send them as an email afterwards. We're more than happy to deal with any queries then. And so without any further ado, let's get started. So the UK online retail exports are expected to reach £60 million by 2018. That's an incredibly big number, and that is showing incredibly big growth over the next 3 years. So how are you going to become a part of this? Or more importantly, what reasons other than this joint number do you need in order to get selling overseas with e-commerce? The one is looking at sales impact. So it's obvious that if you have a bigger marketplace with more customers, your sales are going to increase. Not necessarily automatically turnover increase straight away, but at least you're going to have bigger exposure and a bigger chance of converting those customers to sellers. Two, you're going to have an improved reputation. So in this day and age where everyone can find everyone on the internet, it's all about having a global brand. And with e-commerce and with the ability to sell overseas, you're creating a global name for yourself. Three, it's a chance to grow. So without diversifying your product range, by selling to more countries, you're giving your business the ability to grow in vast amounts. And finally, it's spreading risk. And so obviously, we don't want any kind of situation like the 2008 recession. But at the same time, there are lots of events that can trigger very localized impact on your business. And so by having your business set up in different territories and different countries, it means that you're minimizing the impact that's going to have on your business as a whole. It's just taking all of those eggs out of the one basket. So now that we've talked about why you might want to sell online, we're going to look at how you do it. And step number one is marketing. So when you're marketing internationally, first thing that's very important is to speak your customer's language. Now, 72% of internet users spend most of their time on sites in their own language. So with 90% of all sales happening in languages that aren't English, how are you going to target these people, get them to come to your site, find it, and then buy from you? So although English is the most commonly used language, Chinese is then the second most. 70% is now in non-English speaking countries. So to convert whatever the size of your market you're entering, you're going to need to talk to them in the language that they speak in. Number two is understanding the social landscape. So we all know how powerful social media can be as a way of engaging with potential customers. The thing is that if you're entering a new market, you need to make sure you've got a strong social strategy in place for what they consider the main social platforms. So this is going to be looking at what's right for their region. So in the UK, a number of the biggest social channels will be Twitter and Facebook. And both of these are quite global brands with 70 different languages supported. However, if you're reading this in Russia, you might actually be looking at Yandex as your search engine. And if you're in China, then you might be using RenRen as your biggest online influencer. So you need to look into all of these things for the markets that you're looking at engaging with. This is all about research and looking at localization strategy. So it's more than just translating tweets and posts into different languages. It's about looking at the personal medium for your customers, what it is that they work on, what it is they engage on. Three is getting smart about global SEO. Now, people are, of course, your primary audience, but search engines are still the true gatekeepers. So 71% of global customers are going to be looking to a search engine first when they begin their buying journey. And 78% are never going to look past the first page. So it makes it increasingly important for you to know who the gatekeepers are in the markets you're trying to reach and how you're going to get yourself to the #1 page. There's a lot of people who still don't really understand how SEO is impacting their business here and in English. So when you're adding global markets to the mix, this issue becomes even more complicated. 4, make your content local. So this is really, really important. And again, it's about understanding the right channels for local audiences. And so it's about how you get your online information to be visible and relevant. So a lot of the search engines, as we're talking about SEO, they utilize different algorithms and ranking criteria. So it's not just about doing the same thing as you're doing in your English language markets. It's about looking at the local keyword research and understanding what you need to be targeting in each of your markets and what it is, the relevant terms that they're going to be looking for. That's marketing. The second important how in becoming an overseas seller is looking at accepting overseas payments. Now, when you're choosing a payment platform, there are a number of key criteria that you need to be considering. And the first is reliability. So service reliability is essential to a growing business. Your customers need to have confidence in your shop, and even more so at the payment stage. Bad experience here is going to send customers somewhere else, and they're not going to be likely to come back anytime soon. Secondly, scalability. So you have belief in your business, right? You think it's going to grow, and so you need an online store that has room to take on greater volumes of orders. And this might be, an incremental amount over a period of time, or this could be looking at coping with, extra demand on Mother's Day or Christmas or Easter. So every aspect of the shop needs to be able to cope with sudden increases in customers, especially your payment platform. 3 is free support. This is a must. So retailers who need to concentrate on sales, marketing, the mechanics of business growth, the last thing you need is to be up at night stressing over changes to your payment platform. So suppliers should be able to offer a free phone number that's staffed around the clock so that you're not freaking out when your payment platform isn't doing what you expect it to. And then it's about trust. Now, this is essential. So an old adage applies here: if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. So don't use a cheap payment platform, that you've never heard of and that you don't know who's using, because they're more likely to be more trouble than they're worth. So you're looking for a reputable payment platform with a trustworthy brand, so it's going to be a stress-free experience for you and your business. And also, full integration. So whatever package you're going for, it's going to have to be powerful, convenient, and flexible. This means full shopping cart integrations, end-to-end e-commerce. And essentially, it needs to be able to offer international payments because you're going to be selling to countries outside of your home country. When we look at international payments, there are a number of key areas that we want to look at. One is currencies. The most obvious part is that the money is different. So being able to sell in currencies other than pounds or euro is clearly an important step. So this allows you to increase revenue and reach markets which are developing and might have less competition than you already have. When you reach more customers using the checkout page in their local language, they're going to feel more comfortable completing it, and they're going to be more likely to buy and to actually complete their purchase. Then local payment methods. Now the thing here is that how people pay varies a lot from different territories and different countries. So you should consider offering more than just traditional credit cards. Some people think that their local payment types are more secure than international payment cards, and 28% of customers are going to abandon their checkout if their preferred payment method isn't available first time. So your payment gateway should be able to offer advice and statistics on the best payment types for each country, and this is going to increase payment conversions so you see more sales. And then the third very big factor of dealing with international payments is, of course, fraud. So along with increased commercial opportunity comes more risk to your business. This comes in many forms, including in your reputation. If you're getting transactions and deliveries wrong and receiving poor customer feedback. So problems are harder to solve from a distance too. So it's important to use suppliers who are reputable, trustworthy, and professional. And also keep in mind that when you're dealing with different countries, be aware of the different fraud systems they have in place to make sure that you and your transactions are also going to be secure. Delivery. So this is crucial. You need to deliver where your customers are. And you need to be clear and very apparent about what delivery that you can offer them. So one, when you're looking at international delivery, look at places with low duty tax first. Okay, so this is the call of duty. Go places where you're not going to be charged an awful lot on taxes and customs, because this is going to have a big impact on the cost of your delivery, also your profit margin, and also potentially the profitability of the product full stop. Two, you need to be looking at adopting specialist carriers for specific countries. So some places like, mainland Europe, it's all very similar. You can do fulfillment with a whole bunch of different places all across by truck. If you're looking at getting deliveries to Asia, to Australia, to Africa, to North America, South America, you need to look at the best carriers for this. And they might not be the same people who deal with your domestic deliveries. Crucial area, of course, is then reverse logistics. So if you're managing to get the parcel to the customer decides that they don't want it, that it's faulty, or that it doesn't fit them, they need to be able to return it. Now, whether this is about having a local depot in the countries that you're targeting, or whether it's about taking on the cost of losing out on these sales completely, you need to have a return strategy in place for each of your international markets. If you decide to sell internationally with Amazon, they are now making it mandatory to have a local returns address for each of the sales that you make in different countries. And this might impact on the countries that you decide that you want to target. And then your website needs to be ready. So it's one thing if you've got someone from Guatemala or from Japan or from Australia looking through your site, browsing products, deciding what it is they want to buy, and then getting to the payment page and realizing that it doesn't deliver to their country. So your website needs to be optimized to show at all times which products can be delivered to which countries and how quickly. So that could have a huge effect on the conversions and attracting an international customer base. Number 4, marketplaces. Now, we talked about selling internationally. Well, marketplaces are a great opportunity to get involved with very low risk. And so when you look at the numbers, it makes a lot of sense. Amazon has 130 million customers worldwide. Alibaba has 300 million active buyers in China alone. They're making a concerted effort to kind of break into the European market at the moment. 30% of all e-commerce transactions in the UK and the US are currently done via marketplaces. And in China, that's a staggering 90%. So it's definitely an area that's worth looking at. Also because the benefits of marketplaces are quite substantial. One, very easy to set up. To the huge audience, the numbers that we were talking about before, there's great access to a huge customer base, which you might not be able to track by yourself. 3, mobile by default. So particularly after April 21st, with the whole Google mobile getting, being mobile ready and mobile friendly is incredibly important for being browsed on people's mobile phones, but also for completing transactions. And so the great benefit of being on a marketplace is that they're already mobile optimized. 4, global access. So again, this is what you're looking for with each of these different marketplaces. You not just have access to your domestic market, but you have access to customers all across the world. And they're the ones who are doing the job in marketing and building up the trustworthy brand. Now here's a little trivia for you. Let's see if you can guess this before we reveal the answer. So how many users does eBay have daily in the UK? So we've got 1.2 million, 2.7 million, and 5.5. And the answer, which may or may not surprise you, is 2.7 million. It's every day. So if you're looking at selling on eBay, you already know that there's a huge marketplace, okay? This is in the UK alone. Think about that expanded exponentially globally. So how do you sell internationally with eBay? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. So first you need to check you meet the requirements. This is simple. You need to have an eBay seller account. You need to have a verified PayPal account. You need to have at least 10 feedback points, which you've earned as a seller. And you need to have had your first successful sale more than 90 days ago. So once you've been set up on eBay for about 3 months and had 10 successful transactions, then you're all ready to start selling internationally according to their standards. Then all you've got to do is turn on international postage and select your rates. So this, you just go to your create your listings page, you select post to, and then you can go worldwide. So you then get to choose the countries and territories that you're going for. So you don't have to go worldwide. You can make it European. You can make it just English language only. But here you have the option to broaden your appeal quite dramatically and quite easily. The important thing that you need to do is to look at rates. So are you going to change your postage rates to these different countries? Here you need to take some time to do some calculations. Look at how this is going to affect your product price, look at how it's going to affect your profit lines, and make sure that you factor all this in, particularly when currencies are fluctuating at particular times of the year. Then you need to think about visibility. So once you turn this on, your offer is going to be visible to all international visitors who come to ebay.co.uk. Also in international sites, if the buyer is looking at international listings, you're going to be there too. Optimized views in 30 countries that don't have ebay.com access, as long as you tick these countries when setting up the service. That's a great new audience which you're becoming available to. And then you've got the ability for an optional upgrade. So if you want to increase your visibility further, you can pay a small fee that allows international visibility. You're automatically then seen on ebay.co.uk, .com, .ca, .au, all of their different international sites. And all this is basically nothing. It's a cost of nothing if you list under 65 items per month, or £20 for 65 to 600, and then more as you increase the number of products and SKUs that you have. Some things that you need to consider, however, are that even though it's a great place to start with international selling, as with all international marketplaces, it isn't perfect. So just to bear in mind, your listing will appear all over the world as it appears in the UK, so you need to keep in mind language issues. Okay, if you want to have it in different languages, you're going to have to factor that in. Make sure it's legal to sell what you're selling in the countries that you're selling to. This is very important. So some things that are totally okay here are not okay in Thailand, for example, and make sure you get that set up. And also think about how you're going to deal with customer queries, questions, complaints, if they're in another language. Okay, so Google Translate is an option, but not necessarily the best one. So that's just eBay. There are a whole host of marketplaces which you can sell internationally with. What you have to think about is what suits you, your product, and your customer base best. So here are just some examples that we've picked up. And if you're selling on any of these, it'd be great to hear about your experience and look at the stuff that you're already doing and looking at how you can improve that. And so now, those are the four main hows. We've looked at marketing, we've looked at payments, we've looked at delivery, we've also looked at using marketplaces. We put together a top 10 action tips, which should basically get you focused on how to sell internationally and get you underway. Number one, define your market. This is really important. Online retailers that define their markets tend to win more customers than those who are just trying to sell to all of the world. Okay, so it's important to target a handful of markets and research which are the ones that are going to yield best sales for you and your product. So tools such as Google's Global Market Finder uses search data, and this can help you as a business locate demand for your products, and that can be really useful. 2, get your payments sorted. So you need to use a trusted global payments provider, which is essential A, to creating trust with foreign buyers, and B, making sure that you are set up to accept payments in all of these different countries, and you know that you can trust them. PayPal is a globally known and trusted brand and will allow you to accept payments in 203 different markets. So that's what you need to be looking for and aiming for when you're getting your payment platform agreed. You need to set up your shipping. So if you're looking to export physical goods from UK direct to consumers, you're going to need a serious shipping solution. You're also going to need to know how much these things are going to cost and what time it's going to take so that you can let the customer know all of these things in advance. 4, as I mentioned before, speak their language. If you're expanding your shop globally, you're going to need to localize your content, including pricing, translating your catalog, and even providing local customer support. If the last thing you want is for someone to ring up your hotline and for you not to know what they're saying, that leaves everyone in an unhappy place. And 5 is test the market. So again, this is where marketplaces are really handy. If you want to try a product in a certain area for the first time, if you want to see if there's an audience, if you want to see how delivery and payment systems are going to work, test it, test it, test it. And then you need to understand different cultures. So even really big brands can get it wrong when they move into new territories first. So understanding the culture of the country that you're looking to sell to is vital before you start targeting its customers. Take some time to get to know how they like to pay, how they like to shop, how they like to use a website, and it will make your customer experience way more enjoyable for them, and you'll see the upside in the increased number of sales. And then looking at pricing. So remember that selling overseas is going to cost you more than selling locally. Can you absorb the cost, or will you need to adjust your prices? You need to think about all of these things, particularly when you're thinking about currency and looking at fluctuations in rates. And then, of course, it's important to suss out the competition. So you might know who your competition is in the UK, but do you know who they are in Europe, in Americas, in Asia? So be aware of what they're doing. And of course, if a major player is entering your market, you should be prepared to adapt quickly or just take them on. And 9 is trade shows. So this is a great way of A, looking at potential partners, B, looking at competition, and C, getting to know the local market. So take advantage of any opportunity you can to meet and network with potential suppliers and if possible customers in other territories. So trade shows can actually be really useful for this exercise, and anything you learn here could be very valuable. Though obviously there are costs associated with taking this on full time. And then importantly, get help. So you are not alone in this journey. 1, you've got people like Thomas Smith who are running his Export Academy. 2, you've got a lot of help from local governments. You have a set of agencies. You think about Ireland, Enterprise Ireland in the UK, UKTI.
Yeah, we could also mention Export TT. They have a group of participants on our International Trade Specialist Accreditation Programme at the moment. In fact, we have a number of people attending this webinar right now.
And of course, we're here. So eseller.net is online all the time, and we have a lot of articles, ebooks, checklists, videos that can help you on your online selling journey. So if you're interested, come along and register, sign up to the website. Also, just follow us on Twitter. You can send us a tweet either after this or at any other time with any of your questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And connect with me. So I am Erin O'Dowling-Keane, and I am more than happy to make new LinkedIn connections at any time. So don't be a stranger. Get registered, connect with us, email. Let us know about your business plans, your successes, your challenges. And of course, if you've got any questions, I am here. So thank you very much for your time today, and looking forward to hearing from you all. Back over to you, Thomas.
Okay, that's great, fantastic. Thanks so much now for your time, Aaron, okay, today, and for your information. And if they have any questions, I'm sure they'll be able to get in contact with you either on Twitter or by email, okay?
Fantastic.
That's great. So have a good evening, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks very much, Thomas. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye now. Bye-bye.